The Golden Age of Jewish Culture in Al-Andalus, myth or reality? Ever wondered about a time when Jewish culture flourished under Muslim rule? Prepare to delve into the complex and often debated history of the Golden Age of Jewish culture in Al-Andalus, a period of remarkable intellectual and economic growth that challenges conventional narratives. The Golden Age of Jewish culture in Al-Andalus refers to a period of significant Jewish cultural and intellectual flourishing in Muslim-ruled Spain, also known as Al-Andalus. This era spanned roughly from 711 to 1492 AD. This period coincided with the Islamic Golden Age, a time of great advancements in science, mathematics, and philosophy within the Muslim world. It stands in stark contrast to the conditions experienced by Jews in much of Christian Europe during the Middle Ages. However, the very notion of a Golden Age is a subject of ongoing historical debate. Scholars question the extent and nature of the tolerance and prosperity experienced by Jews during this time. Jews in Al-Andalus were considered dhimmis, or protected people under Muslim rule. This status granted them certain rights and protections, but also imposed limitations and obligations. The Jewish experience in Al-Andalus was far from uniform. Conditions fluctuated greatly, ranging from periods of relative tolerance and prosperity to times of persecution and hardship, depending on the specific ruler and location. Maria Rosa Menocal argued that tolerance was an inherent characteristic of Andalusian society. She posited that Jews were significantly better off in Al-Andalus than in Christian Europe. Bernard Lewis offered a contrasting perspective. He argued that Islam did not offer equality to Jews, but the restrictions they faced were more social and practical than strictly enforced legal limitations. Mark Cohen critiques the idealized vision of interfaith utopia in Al-Andalus. He suggests that this myth was largely created by 19th century Jewish historians seeking to highlight a positive example of Jewish-Muslim relations. It's important to avoid the neo-lachrymose conception of Jewish-Arab history. This counter-myth presents a consistently negative view, which is also an oversimplification of a complex historical reality. Before the Muslim conquest, Visigothic rule in Spain was initially tolerant towards Jews. However, after the Visigoths converted to Catholicism, their rule became increasingly oppressive. The Muslim conquest of Spain in 711 AD may have been welcomed by some Jews. They possibly saw it as an opportunity to escape the religious persecution they faced under Visigothic rule. The Jewish population in Al-Andalus was significantly bolstered by immigration. Jews arrived from North Africa and the Middle East, contributing to the growth and dynamism of Jewish communities. This period witnessed a flourishing of Jewish intellectual pursuits. Jewish scholars made significant contributions to philosophy, mathematics, astronomy, poetry, and rabbinical scholarship. Jewish communities experienced unparalleled economic expansion. They played a vital role in trade, finance, and various other sectors of the Andalusian economy. Jews were actively involved in the translation of important texts. They translated Arabic, Greek, and Hebrew works, facilitating the transmission of knowledge across cultures. Key figures of this era include Hasdai ibn Shaprut, a diplomat and patron of Jewish learning, Menahem ben Saruk, a pioneering Hebrew grammarian, and Dunash ben Labrat, who introduced Arabic meter to Hebrew poetry. Other notable figures include Samuel Hanagid, a vizier and military leader, Moses ibn Ezra, a renowned poet and philosopher, Solomon ibn Gabirol, a Neoplatonic philosopher and poet, and Judah Halevi, a philosopher, physician, and poet. Córdoba became a major center of Talmudic study. This was largely due to the influence of Moses ben Hanoch, who established a prominent academy in the city. Jews in Al-Andalus enjoyed a degree of partial autonomy. They were allowed to maintain their own legal system and social services, managing their internal affairs according to Jewish law. The jizya tax was levied on Jews as protected non-Muslims. This tax was separate from the Muslim zakat and served as a form of tribute in exchange for protection and religious freedom. Religious restrictions were imposed on Jews. These included limitations on public displays of their faith, such as building synagogues taller than mosques or publicly celebrating religious holidays. Compared to Christian Europe, Jews in Al-Andalus were generally more integrated into political and economic life. They held positions in government, participated in trade, and contributed to the overall prosperity of the region. Despite periods of relative tolerance, coexistence between Jews and Muslims was often uneasy. Relationships were sometimes marked by segregation, mutual suspicion, and even outright hostility. The Granada massacre of 1066 stands as a stark reminder of the fragility of Jewish life in Al-Andalus. This event resulted in the deaths of thousands of Jews and marked a turning point in Jewish-Muslim relations. Maimonides, one of the most influential Jewish philosophers, was forced to flee Al-Andalus. He sought refuge from the Almohads, a fundamentalist Muslim dynasty that imposed strict religious policies and forced conversions. Maimonides himself was critical of the treatment of Jews by Arabs. His writings reflect a nuanced perspective, acknowledging both the positive and negative aspects of Jewish life under Muslim rule. The dissolution of the Caliphate of Cordoba in the early 11th century led to political instability. This created a more precarious situation for Jewish communities as the central authority weakened and local rulers became more unpredictable. The Almoravid invasion of 1090 marked a deterioration of Jewish conditions. The Almoravids, a Berber dynasty from North Africa, imposed a more puritanical form of Islam, leading to increased restrictions on Jews. The Almohad invasion of 1148 brought further decline. The Almohads, even more zealous than the Almoravids, implemented even stricter religious policies, including forced conversions to Islam. Many Jewish and Muslim scholars fled to Christian-controlled Toledo. This city became a center of learning and cultural exchange, preserving much of the intellectual heritage of Al-Andalus. The Alhambra Decree of 1492 marked the definitive end of the Golden Age. This edict, issued by the Catholic monarchs Ferdinand and Isabella, forced Jews to either convert to Christianity or leave Spain, bringing centuries of Jewish presence in the region to a tragic close. The expulsion of the Jews from Spain in 1492 is a watershed moment in Jewish history. It represents the culmination of centuries of fluctuating fortunes and the ultimate failure of coexistence in Al-Andalus. The golden age of Jewish culture in Al-Andalus remains a complex and fascinating period. It offers valuable insights into the possibilities and limitations of interfaith relations, the dynamics of cultural exchange, and the enduring resilience of the Jewish people. Now that you've explored this pivotal era, delve deeper. Research the key figures mentioned, explore the philosophical and literary works produced during this time, and consider the different perspectives on the nature of this golden age. Share this video with fellow history enthusiasts and spark a discussion about the complexities of Jewish-Muslim relations in medieval Spain. Let's continue to learn from the past and strive for a more nuanced understanding of history.